wanted me, not Daddy. Wednesday, it was Tuesday. We went down to the hospital because I wasn't sure. They did like an emergency MRI for him, and I wasn't sure what for, and I thought maybe they had missed a test when he did all his testings. All his testings came back clear except for one. It was an MIBG scan, and that's the one where they inject dye into his bones, like a radiation into his bones, and that's how they find tumors into his bones. And I was wondering why we were down there on Tuesday, and come to find out, the doctor had told me that they had found some findings in his left tibia. And I was so frustrated because the last 6 months on tests had been coming back and negative evidence of any kind of cancer in his body. I was so frustrated. And this was Thursday, not Tuesday, because it was the day after I talked about the difference between the fear of the Lord and the fear of everything else. So the enemy came in and tried to attack my son. And that day, he told me, well, there's a reason why we're doing an MRI on him, because we wanted to double check to make sure if there was any cancer that started spreading in his legs. And so I called out an emergency prayer, and I told the enemy that he had no right to be attacking on my son, and that he's not going to scare me. God's already done the work. I've already believed. After 3 hours of waiting, and then get in the car and on the way home, just crying and crying, I said, I don't believe this. He doesn't have cancer. About a month and a half ago, at Ronald McDonald House, my parents came out because he stopped walking. This was right after his transplants. A month and a half ago, he stopped walking. There was something growing in his legs, but when they did MRIs then, they couldn't find anything. That night, my parents had prayed for Elijah, and he started walking again. There was a miracle there a month and a half ago. Most of you guys already know that story. Just out of the blue, he just started walking. This last Thursday, when on the way home, the doctor called and said, the MRI found something, but it wasn't cancer. He said, there's scar tissue there we've never seen before. And I was like, are you kidding me? This was the evidence of that miracle that happened a month ago, when there was cancer in his legs that the enemy tried to bring on. And the doctor said, we don't find anything, and we're claiming him cancer-free.
He's cancer-free because we know what God did for him. But it's another thing to have stage 4 cancer. For them to tell him that my son's probably going to die. In under a year, for the doctors to proclaim that he is cancer-free. That's just God, church. That's just God. There's more doesn't mean I want to take much more Pastor Skeet's time, but the devil really tried to attack because they can't give him any more chemo. They couldn't give him any more radiation. They says if the cancer comes back, he's dead. Pretty much said he's dead. And so the devil tried to attack us. That Thursday when they said we found a finding. A finding is cancer. But of course, my God is bigger. But Friday we get a phone call. During this whole situation, we were losing our house. It's a long story, but we had spoken with them on Tuesday, and they said that my company is a private investor. They're not with the Obama program. They're not Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They weren't going to work with me. All they were going to do was just raise my house payment. I had one of them inflated loans. My original house payment was $12-something. It went up to $15-something. It was going up to $1,800, and just not something we could do. And we had just spoken with them and almost had given up. Almost, but not, we didn't. Or did we? We got a phone call, and something happened that had never happened before, and that our company found a buyer for our loan. And the buyer was Wells Fargo, and brought my payment down to a fixed rate of what the original price was when we bought the house. Something unheard of that they do not do. 2 days, 2 more miracles. That's the kind of God that I serve.